Welcome explorers! In today's video we're taking a look at the history and demise of a Birmingham landmark, the Fox and Grapes pub. This watering hole is now completely gone after 200 years of serving up pints. The Fox and Grapes was situated on Freeman Street, right in the heart of the city centre. Historians believe there had been a pub on this site since as early as 1815. So this spot was a communal gathering place for Brummies for nearly 2 centuries. Despite being a Grade 2 listed building, the Fox and Grapes met its demise in 2018 to make way for the HS2 train line, set to come through the nearby Curzon Street station. After years of campaigning by locals to save the pub, it was sadly boarded up in 2015. When severely damaged by a fire and ultimately demolished 3 years later. It was abandoned and empty for many years. So in place of this long-standing piece of Birmingham's history is now just rubble and construction chaos. The HS2 project began demolition and ground prep in this area in 2018, but 5 years later it still looks a long way from being an operational train line. With the loss of the Fox and Grapes, a link to Birmingham's 18th-century industrial past has been erased. We think it's a crying shame when historic places like this, which bring so much character and community to a city, get bulldozed in the name of progress. Destruction was sadly unavoidable here, but hopefully HS2 brings connectivity and opportunity to Birmingham when finally complete. What about you explorers? Did you ever grab a pint in the Fox and Grapes back in the day? Or have your own stories and photos to share? Let us know in the comments. We always appreciate when our community helps keep these departed places alive through memories and images. So for now, cheers and RIP to the Fox and Grapes. Another one bites the dust in the non-stop redevelopment of Brum. We'll be stopping in soon to more nostalgic, vintage pubs still keeping history alive while they avoid the wrecking ball. Stay tuned, my friends. Cheers! And that's a wrap on the Lost Fox and Grapes, explorers. This pub, which stood for nearly 200 years, is now just a memory after being demolished in 2018. A few more details on its past for the history buffs out there. Parts of the building dated all the way back to the late 1600s, early 1700s. Records show a pub operating on this plot at 16 Freeman Street since at least 1829. The name Fox and Grapes was in use by 1849, referring to the Aesop fable. In its heyday, the Fox and Grapes had a handsome brick facade and tiled roof. The interior featured a former coach house and other historic touches. It was designated a Grade 2 listed building in 1982, but this protection couldn't stand up to the HS2 train line plans. After being boarded up in 2015, damage from an arson fire and the HS2 compulsory purchase order sealed the Fox and Grapes' fate. It was demolished suddenly over a single weekend in September 2018 after at least 180 years of pouring pints. The loss of this well-loved pub was mourned by many Brummies, as it wiped away some of the last tangible history in an area that has rapidly redeveloped. But such is the cycle of the city, the old makes way for the new. We'd love to hear your memories or see photos of the Fox and Grapes before it met the wrecking ball. For now though, cheers to another past chapter of Birmingham's story. Stay curious, my friends.